Hi there, welcome to Holly Wade Wellness and 30 Days of Yoga. We are in the middle of our 30 days, so congratulations, you're rocking it. Today, let's focus on low back. So, a lot of people carry their stress in the low back. There are a couple of reasons for that. That's just where we hold stress. And as we age, we tend to be weak in, it's not even about aging, I shouldn't even say it with that part. We tend to get weak in the abdominals and also in the hamstrings. The hamstrings get tight, and so much of that has to do with being here all day long. We do so much seated that we don't have to engage our core, and we don't have to. Our hamstrings are just always contracted. They don't get a chance to lengthen. So today we'll focus on opening the low back, the hamstrings, doing a little strengthening of the core to balance all that out, but really just taking the time to give ourselves some TLC in the low back. And I see my mat is bunched, so let me take care of that for a moment. And actually today we'll start standing. So go ahead and connect all 10 toes to the ground, lift up through the heart, roll the shoulders back and down. And the palms can face forward or into your body. When we turn them forward, it automatically lifts our heart up just a little more. Now notice your chin and your nose and kind of lift them up just slightly so the back of your head is in alignment with the back of your body. It feels a little weird because we're not used to being in that position. We're used to our neck being forward. Now start to observe your breath. Notice the belly rise and fall with your breath, with your inhale and exhale. Now start to notice the ribs, inhaling and exhaling right and left with your breath. Feel the ribs expand to the sides with your inhale and exhale. Now notice the ribs along the back side of the body. We also want them to expand with our breath. Now before we begin our forward folds, I just want to be really clear on something. So as we inhale, we'll inhale and reach up. The hands touch at the top in prayer. And we exhale and pull those hands through the center of our body. And from here, we'll go ahead and go into our forward fold. But for today, we really want to make sure we bend those knees and attach the ribs to the thighs. That way, our upper body is fully supported. So if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, you have support of your body. We never want to hang unsupported when we have those conditions. It's too much for that low back. So always make sure you're supported. If you don't want hands on the floor, they can even be on the thighs. Soften those knees, bend, use the legs to rise. So let's inhale together. Exhale, rolling through into our forward fold. Letting the head and neck relax all the way down, bending those knees, pressing into the feet. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling into that forward fold. Bending those knees, pressing into those feet, inhaling to rise. And here's our last one. And this time we'll just stay in our forward fold. So from here, just start to press into those feet. See if you can lengthen those legs just a tiny bit. But the ribs are still supported on the thighs. If anything is too much, ease out of it. Soften those knees, sit back just a little bit. Now let's really focus on the head and neck dropping. And then just shake the head, yes and no. Take some tension out of the neck and shoulders. Taking a big breath in and exhale. On this next inhale, we'll rise. And let's just take a moment right here to allow our bodies to readjust. Whew. Excellent. I'll face you. Stay where you are, but I just want to face you so you can see what's happening this time. So let's take those feet out nice and wide. We'll come into a standing straddle. So they're like a triangle or a V. And let's make sure that the toes are spread wide and the outer edges are connected to the mat. Beautiful. Lengthen up through the top of the head. Hands at the hips, and we'll hinge forward from the hips. Dropping the head and the shoulders. Placing the hands on the floor. And then the same thing. Start to straighten those legs by engaging those thighs. Let the head relax just a little bit more. Now, if it's available for you, ever so gently walk your hands toward one foot. They might not get all the way over to the foot, and that's okay. Now, as you do that, make sure that your opposite foot doesn't lift up. Make sure that the feet stay even. It's through the torso and the hips that we're actually rotating. Let the head and neck relax. And then ever so gently take your time to walk toward your other foot. And we'll do the same thing. Now make sure that other foot didn't lift up. It's still in contact, and the outer edge of the foot is still on the floor. Take that time to come back to center. Now, if you would like, you can readjust those feet a little bit. And what we'll do is very gently just ease from side to side. And we're working out the hips and the low back by doing this. So all I'm doing is bending one knee and then the other. And it kind of allows my body to make a little gentle figure 8. And there's no rush in doing that. Now, if you'd like, you can even add the arms swaying side to side and reaching through that. But do this slowly and softly and gently so that we're lovingly and carefully nurturing our body, allowing it to open. We don't want to go quickly. We don't want to jerk. We just want to very softly and lovingly allow the hips and the low back and the side of the body to open up. Coming back to center and then bringing those legs back to stillness, dropping the head and neck, and heel toe on into a forward fold. Softening those knees, pressing into the feet, and rolling through that spine to rise. Beautiful. That's one of my favorite things to do. Excellent. Let's give our bodies a moment to adjust. And then let's go to our hands and knees. We'll do a little cat-cow from here. Continuing to mobilize that spine. But the hamstring should start to feel pretty good now. The low back should start to feel pretty good. Hands right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips, fingers are spread wide, and we're pressing slightly into those fingertips. On the exhale, let's pull that belly in, round through that spine, tuck the tailbone and the top of the head under. Inhale as we open the chest, lifting the top of the head and the tailbone. Exhaling as we round through. Inhaling to open the chest and the top of the head. Exhaling and rounding. Inhaling as we open. And one more time. Beautiful. Let's tuck those toes underneath. Reach those hands away just a little bit more. Lift those hips toward the sky and press those heels down. Awesome. We're pressing those heels into the floor, softening the knees, lifting the hips. And then let that heart drop toward the floor just a slight bit. Now our gaze is between our feet toward the back of our mat. And from here we can actually press one heel into the floor and then the other, just going from side to side, pedaling the feet. And if you just need to stay on one side for a little bit to work something out, take the opportunity to do so. Pressing both feet toward the ground, lifting the hips, and shifting our weight forward into a plank. So from here, we really shouldn't have to do too much to shift or to move our hands or feet. Now the option from here, we're going to shift, continuing to go from plank or modified plank into downward dog or child's pose. So option one is child's pose. And then using the belly to bring our bodies forward into that modified plank. Now we want to make sure we get into that full modification. We're not just stopping with our hips in the air, but that we come into the full expression of the pose. Same thing with downward dog. Well, exhale, making sure we get all the way into that downward dog. Inhale and bring the heart all the way through between those hands. Now we want to make sure those hips aren't dropped too far, but we're really engaging through those abdominals. Exhaling as we press back. And inhaling as we shift forward. So we're just connecting with our breath between these two. Exhaling back in child's pose or down dog. Inhaling as we come forward. And we're taking our time, so we're not putting too much pressure in those shoulders. We're really engaging the hips. We're being mindful of how our body is moving. One more round. And exhaling as we move back. Gently lowering the knees down to the ground and pressing back in our child's pose. And let's take this opportunity to take care of the wrists, rolling through them, opening and closing the fingers, pressing one hand into the other, whatever that needs to be. Just taking a little time here. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and lie on our backs. So we're continuing to open those hamstrings and stabilize the abdominals a little bit. So for abdominal stabilization, this is actually more of a Pilates move, but that is okay because it's a really important one and a good one. Let's place the third finger on the top of our hips and the thumb on the bottom ribs. The knees are bent, and all we're doing is we're marching. But as we do that, I'm lifting one knee and then lowering down, but I don't want my ribs to move. I want this part of my abdominals to stay completely still. So my breath is going to be more into my chest. And it's an exhale as we move. Inhale, stay. Exhale as we move and lower down. Now notice when you lower down that the hips don't tilt down. Keep the lower part engaged and stabilizing as you lower that foot away from you. Beautiful. Let's do 4 more. Exhale, breathe in. Exhale, lower down. Breath in. Excellent. So now let's move into a little bit of an ab prep, and we also can do these in yoga. I've seen it. We do this in Yoga Fit, which is what I was trained in. And it's just a little baby crunch. Now what we're doing is we're sliding the ribs into the hips so that the belly stays flat. And we really want this part to stay stable, this little ASIS. It's a little triangle from hip to hip into the pelvis. Inhale, stay. Exhale, lengthen the spine and lower down. So let's do 8 of those. Exhale, lift. Inhale, stay. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, stay. Exhale and lift. Lengthening through the neck. Inhale, stay. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift. Inhale, stay. Exhale, lower down. I need to stop talking. We're halfway. One last time. Beautiful. Let's bring those knees into the chest. And once again, roll through the low back. Give that lower back a chance to kind of relax and stretch. Feel free to roll side to side if you would like, or to circle the knees. And then gently lower down. Now let's go ahead and extend one leg into the air. I forgot to grab a towel, so if you've got one on hand, go ahead and wrap it around your calf or your foot. Otherwise, hold either the hamstring or the calf. Please stay away from grabbing the knee right at the joint. And that bottom leg can be bent or long. Now, to add a little more energy to this, start to engage both thighs. Extend out through both feet. If their bottom leg is on the ground, if it's bent, you can't quite do that, but you can still engage that leg. Bending the knee and pulling that knee into the same armpit. So I've got my right leg and I'm pulling that right knee in toward my right armpit. So this is preparing us for happy baby in just a minute, or dead bug, whichever version you want. I don't make up the names, I just call them out. And exhaling to release. Let's go ahead and grab the other side. So pulling the knee into the chest, gently extending that leg. The bottom knee is either bent or extended, either option. Shoulders are sliding down and away from the ears and they're relaxed. Energizing those thighs, extending out through the heels. And one leg maybe goes a little farther than the other. It's just how it is, just an observation. And sometimes that's telling us things. So sometimes that can tell us that our pelvis is off enough that we need a chiropractic adjustment. Sometimes that's telling us that, I need to do this more often to make sure that I'm evening out the muscle balance, making sure that one side isn't stronger than the other, that they're both equally strong. Let's go ahead and pull that knee into the armpit. Ah, beautiful. One more breath in and out. Pulling both knees into the chest this time, but they'll stay wide outside of the ribs, and the bottoms of the feet come toward the ceiling. Now you can either take your first two fingers and place them between your big toe and second toe, wrap with those fingers, cap with the thumb. Your palms should be facing each other like you're going to clap rather than trying to go this way. Because we don't want to push the feet out, we're trying to pull the knees down. Yeah, awesome. Otherwise, you can hold the outsides of your foot if that's available for you. If you don't have the flexibility or you have super long legs and you can't reach your toe or your foot comfortably, hold the backs of the thighs. You can just give yourself a big hug. Now from here, this is dead bug when we just hold still. If you want to go to happy baby, rock it side to side, and yes, you can laugh and be silly and whatever with it. Now, if you want, you can try to open the legs in a V position. That's another option or another opportunity. So you choose. And we'll come back to stillness, pulling the knees into the chest, giving ourselves one more big hug, and finding our position for relaxation for today. Closing the eyes, softening the jaw, relaxing the forehead, relaxing the belly, and in the mind's eye, at the space behind the forehead, at the front of our brain, go ahead and take yourself to a little movie screen that sits there. Now just imagine a candle burning. See the color of the candle, see the flame. Observe the colors in the flame. It's not just yellow, there's a little pink and maybe even some purple and some white in that flame. And maybe you can even see the wick as it's burning. You can see the black that it turns as that wax gets burned off of it. And you can see these little drops of wax melting, the pool of wax, of melted wax in the candle. And we take that flame and we bring it into our heart space. And that flame is full of love and kindness and joy. These things that the world desperately needs. The world doesn't need more money. It needs more love and kindness and joy and happiness and laughter. And we drop that into our hearts and we start to feel those things. And as that candle burns, it allows us to brighten. So that love and kindness and joy and gratitude and happiness and laughter are in our being and in all of our cells and expanding and radiating out. So that as we get into contact with people today or tomorrow, depending on when we do our practice, as we are in connection with people, it radiates off of us and is passed on. That flame gets passed on to them. And that flame gets passed on from them to the people that they are in touch with. And that flame continues to spread And we can actually see and envision in our own mind's eye that domino effect or that ripple effect of spreading joy and kindness and peace and love and gratitude and laughter expands and ripples out beyond us. That flame keeps going. And that gift is in our authenticity, in being our true selves. And we just come back to that flame in our heart. And we just sit in gratitude, or lie in gratitude. And go ahead and take a couple of breaths in and out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Start to wiggle fingers and toes and stretch and reach in whatever ways that you need to. Gently roll to a side and figure out how to bring yourself up into a seated position. Take your time. There's no rush to get there. Awesome. I'm anxious to know how that feeling of joy and gratitude and all those lovely, wonderful things get passed on from you to other people in your world today or in the next few days. So I'd love it if you'd send me an email back and let me know the ripple effect that happened, or let me know how this yoga is or isn't working for you. I really want feedback, so please tell me, because I want to stay connected. Even though you're watching a video, I want that connection, and I want to know how I can assist you. So I honor you. I am in gratitude of you. Thank you so much for participating today. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day or sleep, whatever is next for you. I need a remote.